Hello and welcome to Spectrum News. My name is Xavier Robert, coming to you live from Uyo, the capital city of Akwa Ibom. Let's take a look at the headlines. President Tinubu assures of comprehensive criminal justice reform. Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Moino flags off construction of 2.1 kilometers Ukmong Street, others in Oran local government area. Plus, former U.S. President Donald Trump released on bond after arrest and mugshot in Georgia. Details of these stories and more in a moment. First in the news, President Bola Tinubu has promised that his administration would conclude a thorough review of the remuneration templates of judicial officers in the country. Receiving the leadership of the Nigerian Bar Association NBA, led by Yakubu Michael San, the president said the battle against corruption necessitates a comprehensive review of the salaries and allowances of judicial officers, an issue that is well known to him, given his landmark success in reforming justice administration in Lagos State. President Tinubu equally acknowledged the importance of addressing the current vacancies within the Supreme Court, affirming that these vacancies represent obligations that must be fulfilled based on recommendations put forth by the National Judicial Council (NJC). The NBA president, in his remarks, commended the president for appointing very distinguished members of the bar into his cabinet, including Lateef Fagbemi, the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice.
Actually, what we've done is to profusely thank Mr. President for the choice of Prince Lateef Fagbemi as the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. This is one man that we can only describe as a round peg in a round hole. Someone that commands the respect of the bar, someone that has held himself high, has conducted himself in the best traditions of the bar, and we are happy that Mr. President made this choice of Prince Lateef Fagbemi to be the Attorney General of the Federation. We actually thanked Mr. President for the choice of Prince Lateef Fagbemi as the President of the Attorney General of the Federation. It wasn't a mistake. We are proud of that choice, and we've also told Mr. President that we would support the Honorable Attorney General, the bar, under my leadership, by the special grace of God.
The president thanked the NBA for extending an invitation to him to declare open the association's 63rd Annual General Conference this weekend in Abuja. He acknowledged his privilege of having numerous lawyers as close aides, including the Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, the State Chief of Protocol, Victor Adeleke, and his Principal Private Secretary, Damilotun Aderemi. In another development, Vice President Kashim Shettima has said that Nigeria remains committed to collaborating with China and other African countries towards ensuring that the partnership's objectives are achieved for the mutual benefit of both parties. Senator Shettima stated this when he represented President Bola Tinubu at the BRICS Summit in Johannesburg at the China-Africa Leaders Roundtable Dialogue meeting on the margins of the BRICS Summit, Johannesburg, South Africa. According to him, Nigeria welcomes the new initiatives introduced by the Chinese authorities, which include supporting and promoting the modernization of Africa's agriculture and agri-business sectors, providing robust support for Africa to expedite regional integration and backing Africa's industrialization and infrastructure expansion. Vice President Shettima spoke to a large audience, including President Xi Jinping of China and some African leaders on the theme promoting African integration and jointly building a high-level Africa-China community with a shared future at the Santon Convention Center. Away from that, the federal government has planned to reintroduce the National Tax Amnesty Scheme. In a statement signed by the Director of Press and Public Relations of the Ministry of Finance, Stephen Kilabi, the Tax Amnesty Scheme offers a time-limited opportunity for taxpayers to regularize their tax status relating to previous tax periods and pay the taxes due with certain benefits. Also in the statement, the Minister of Finance and the Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Dun, assured Nigerians that better days are ahead with the implementation of the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. In a separate development, the Minister of Industry, Trade and Investment, Dr. Doris Uzoka Anite, has received the first ever Nigeria investment policy document from the Permanent Secretary of her ministry, Evelyn Ngige. Anite said that the policy, which was approved for implementation on May 10, 2023, is aimed at giving investors more comfort and attracting more investment into the country to further boost the economy. The minister also said that the investment policy primarily focuses on investment promotion and facilitation as well as sustainable economic development. According to the ministry, the policy formulation is assisted by the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development as a technical partner. Meanwhile, the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Alleviation, Dr. Betta Edu, has said that the ministry would soon start the verification of the social registrar for transparent distribution of fuel subsidy palliatives. Edu disclosed this during a live broadcast. She noted that the ministry would soon commence the distribution of the palliatives, saying poverty alleviation is paramount to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. The humanitarian minister added that the government would provide jobs to alleviate poverty in the country. Recall that the minister, upon assumption of office, pledged commitment to lifting 133 million Nigerians out of poverty. Now, in education, the Executive Secretary, National Board for Technical Education, NBTE, Professor Idris Bogaje, says the board's slogan, "Skills, not degrees," is to encourage Nigerian youths to focus more on acquiring skills than certificates. Bogaje made the clarification in an interview with newsmen in Abuja. He said that the clarification became necessary following public misconception that the NBTE was discrediting university certificates in favor of technical and vocational education and training. The secretary urged Nigerian youths to focus on skills training to acquire skills qualifications irrespective of the type of degree or higher diploma they have. Still in education, the authorities at the Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, have officially removed lecturers indicted of sexual harassment from their various official positions at the institution. This was disclosed in a press statement issued by Dr. Emmanuel Ojukwu, Special Advisor on Public Relations and Special Duties to the Vice-Chancellor of the institution, Professor Charles Esimone. Although in the statement, Ojukwu did not mention the names of the indicted officials, he said there is an ongoing investigation concerning alleged sexual harassment by some lecturers, while insisting that there was no protest at the institution. In a separate development, the Nigerian Navy has set ablaze and arrested vessel MV Cecilia with about 350,000 liters of stolen automated gas oil, also known as diesel, in Woji, Obiakpo local government area of Rivers State. The commander, Operation Delta Safe, Rear Admiral Olusegun Ferreira, represented by the Maritime Component Commander of the Joint Task Force, JTF, for Operation Delta Safe South-South, Navy Commodore Adedokun Siyanbade, conducted newsmen around the arrested vessel. Ferreira said the vessel, which has not been in use for 2 years, serves as a storage tank for illegally refined products. He said that as part of efforts to fulfill the mandate of Operation Delta Safe, the commander JTF, south of OPDS, directed the Nigerian Navy ship NNS Pathfinder, based on credible intelligence, to conduct a covert operation in the area, which led to the arrest. In another development, the Nigerian Armed Forces and other relatives as well as friends of the fallen heroes have held a mass burial at the National Military Cemetery in Abuja for some of the military personnel who died in combat in Niger State. Present at the funeral ceremony were the Chief of Defense Staff Major General Christopher Musa, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale, and other service chiefs. Reports say some of the deceased officers had already been buried by their families. Recall that the Defense Headquarters had said no fewer than 36 officers were killed in battle, including an air mission on August 14.
Remaining families and top dignitaries there are present.
Thank you.
That was ambushed on
for the last post, while officers and warrant officers
in an ambush on in Zungeru local government, and the crash of a Nigeria Air Force aircraft on a recovery. Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale
has ordered all military commanders and soldiers to exact revenge for the deaths of their colleagues. Speaking during the burial of soldiers killed by bandits in Niger State yesterday, the CDS vowed that those responsible for the act will not go unpunished. He assured that the military will go after bandits, terrorists, and other criminal groups throughout the country. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Omoyeno has flagged off the construction of 2.1 kilometers Upong Street and 2.1 kilometers Efyong-Esang Street with 800 meters length of discharge drain in Oran local government, aiding continuity in the execution of the lofty projects initiated by the immediate past administration. Governor Eno was addressing the jubilant crowd of Oran people who came out in their numbers to herald the flag of Upong and Efyong-Esang streets in Eyobasi axis of Oran community. He emphasized that he was in Oran to keep to his campaign promise of continuing in the projects initiated by the past administration, and restated his commitment to providing adequate funding and logistic support for the completion of the road projects. Hence, his decision to mobilize the contractors to site for the delivery of democratic dividends to the people. The governor, who reiterated the determination of his administration towards meeting the yearnings of the people by taking development to the grassroots, pointedly told the excited crowd that he is concerned with project inauguration rather than flag off, adding that he would delegate members of the State Executive Council to flag off other projects earmarked for execution across the length and breadth of the state, and assured on the project's completion come February next year. On the request by Youth President Comrade Bright Afakan to assist the police authorities with operational vehicles, the governor was emphatic that he would look into the request and asked the youths to partner the police and other security agencies in the maintenance of security, stressing that security is every man's concern. In her goodwill message, the Deputy Governor and major stakeholder in the area, Dr. Akone Yaringi, thanked Governor Eno on behalf of Oran people for having their interests at heart, saying that she was proud to identify with a governor who keeps his words, and lauded him for running an all-inclusive administration. This, she explained, the governor has demonstrated in making Oran Nation one of the earliest places to touch by his government, and assured the people on intervention in the 12 roads within the Oran Nation and the Nsiratai Oran Road placed before him. Reviewing the project, Commissioner for Works and Fire Service Professor Enoy Banga said the 2 roads flagged off were of great significance to Oran people, as they connect the 100 units federal government housing estate, maritime academy, and most of the residential areas of Oran. Government House correspondent Jane Owa reports that the commissioner further stated that the two roads upon completion will be 8 meters wide, with drains through their length, and with the area being prone to erosion, the road will be finished with an 800 meters outfall drain, and pledged the ministry's commitment towards ensuring that the project follows standard specifications. Meanwhile, Akwa Ibom State Governor Pastor Umoino flagged off the construction of a 1.1 kilometer spring road project, the dilapidated access route to Goreti Secondary School in Ikorekpane local government area with a 0.875 kilometers outfall drain. Speaking during the event, the governor, who thanked the people of Ikorekpane for their overwhelming support during the electioneering period that contributed to his emergence as the governor, again promised to sustain his administration's rural development drive and disposition that will be favorable to rural communities. While stating that he may not be able to reach everybody individually, the governor expressed the belief that through his developmental projects, he will be able to touch the greater majority of the people. He used the occasion to charge the youths to develop their skills and register with the relevant government agencies, as his government is ready to support them to succeed. He also urged them to emulate the managing director of UNK Construction Company, Engineer Ukeme Eyo, who is the contractor handling the road project. According to the governor, giving the job to the young contractor is a demonstration of his administration's preparedness to patronize skillful youths in Akwa Ibom who are determined to be best in their various fields. Commended the governor for embarking on the life-touching project, stressing that it will go a long way in improving the living conditions of the people. A Government House correspondent, Jane Owa, reports that the people used the occasion to again assure the governor of their readiness to support him to succeed in his lofty plans for the people of Akwa Ibom. Still to come in the news, Fed prepared to raise rates further to combat inflation. Do stay with us.
Business exists only to meet the needs of the people, but there's an extra advantage if your product and services are pitched on a platform that gives you the added advantage over your competitors. For your desired return on investment and so much more, advertise on Spectrum Television, on StarTime's DTH Channel 421, and on free-to-air with a frequency of 12733. Spectrum Television, broadening your horizon.
Many thanks for staying tuned. We move on now to Africa, where the president of the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, Omar Touray, has said that the regional organization has not declared war on the people of Niger Republic, nor is there any plan to invade the country. Touray, who made the assertion while addressing journalists, was unequivocal that use of military force is not being used in the coup-hit West African nation. The ECOWAS president, however, noted that scales of sanctions had been activated, including legitimate force. According to him, the organization is hopeful that all diplomatic efforts will yield positive action on the part of the junta as preparations continue to make the force ready for deployment in case it becomes compelling to use the force.
Therefore, not under the dictate of any extra-regional power or interests. Our interest is rather the protection of the rights of our people, with the objective of building a rule-based community and fostering peace and prosperity for all in our region. So while we are determined to bend over backwards to accommodate diplomatic efforts, we are not unaware of the true intention of some of the members of the military leadership.
Still in Africa, Dilma Rousseff, the bank's president, says the new development bank, NDB, will promote the inclusion of new members and finance in local currencies of member countries. Rousseff said this recently in a written interview, noting that the bank was well capitalized with low leverage. The bank is in a strong position to expand its role as a tool for carrying out sustainable development projects. Rousseff told correspondents that the inclusion of new members supported NDB's vocation of functioning as a true platform for cooperation among the countries of the Global South. He added that multiple and diverse voices will be heard. Meanwhile, the head of the restive Amhara region in northwestern Ethiopia has resigned amid ongoing violence that prompted a 6-month state of emergency to be declared.